New York, and on the new Hot 97 app. Ebro in the morning. On Hot 97.
Jacob Anderson, a.k.a. Grey Worm's in the building.
Yo, give it up, man. Ebro in the morning, Large Styles, Rosenberg. What's up, Grey Worm?
I'm good, man. How are you?
We'll get to the
Raleigh
Jacob
Ritchie.
Anderson shit in a minute, man. We'll get all that in a minute, man. Right now, we got to have Grey Worm talk.
Okay. Let's go.
Unsullied says.
Yeah.
Yo, what is the language that is actually being spoken?
It's called Valyrian. And apparently, like, it works as a language. Like, there's like a dictionary. You could write a dictionary and it would all, like, make sense. But I don't know any of it. I'm like,
That's what George R. R. Martin says? Or what
no,
the people say that?
Yeah, it's this guy called David Peterson who writes the language. I don't know how you do that.
You realize how nerdy you have to be able to write a language?
I know, but it's
I
like...
mean, that's hieroglyphics or the old, old...
Souls of Mischief? Why are you bringing
No,
up hieroglyphics?
like hieroglyphs, being able to read the hieroglyphs and write in that way. There's people who could do that shit.
But it was
still, too.
specifically made for Game of Thrones.
Yeah. It's like Klingon. You know, people
Yeah,
can
it's
actually
right.
speak.
It's crazy.
But I think, actually, no. Do you know what? I'll get
Say
myself
it.
in trouble.
Take your shot.
No, I was
Say
going to
it.
say,
That'll be
I was
good
gonna
news.
say with Klingon, I think, like, part of it is just made up. Like, you can go,
Right.
Mahach. You can do that.
Now, while you've just basically fried yourself with the whole...
No, I like that.
I
Grey,
know.
Star Trek.
Grey
I'm
Worm
gonna
from
make-
Game of Thrones says Star Trek is trash. Name the video, please.
Klingons speak gibberish. The unsullied language is...
Now, you said, though, you did tell me before the interview started.
Yeah.
Now that the show is ending, you sort of want to go on a tour
Yep.
and clear up what people think about Grey Worm's lack of schlong.
It's just inaccuracy. The thing is, it sounds like I feel like I'm feeling really...
No,
Well,
actors
you
always
always-
do
your
that.
inadequate.
manhood was
like, as an
taken.
actor, I'm like, my manhood's being questioned. And it's not really that. I'm like, we have to be clear about Grey Worm's...
Grey Worm.
About Grey Worm's situation.
Or
he
lack
has
of
a hammer.
situation.
Or lack of... It's a lack of situations.
So
but
his
not a
balls
lack of
got cut
situation. Yeah. But they got, like, cut at, like, the connective bit. This is like...
Oh, okay,
you
so
know,
his reproductive abilities have been snipped.
Yeah.
But the hammer's still there.
The hammer's still there.
Yo,
See,
they
I don't
know if
never
you can
make that
use it.
clear, bro. They never. I just watched. I just watched the episode. I just watched the episode where Daenerys asked Missandei. She says, "Do you know, like, how do they keep the?" I forgot how she describes it.
It's like pillars and stones.
Pillars and
I think,
stones.
yeah.
Do they keep the pillar and cut off the stones?
Yeah.
And of course, Missandei is like, I don't know. And she's like, have you ever wondered about it? And she's like, yes. But they don't give you a real answer. So you're saying the answer is really they cut off the reproductive tract, but you still have a hammer that can do something.
I guess so.
It could
Because
still go
otherwise,
down.
how
So
are they gonna pee?
you're shooting blanks, basically.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what
That
it
would
is.
still feel
but
good,
there's
by the way.
other
You just-
things that you couldn't do, right? This is why I feel like I've brought this into the room.
You did.
I feel like this was my...
Well,
Well,
stop
this is
me.
the problem.
Well, stop
Like,
me.
Because
did
here's
it,
why.
actually.
And it's very important. It's very important to you, Grey Worm, is because you're a woman who loved you despite having a dick. In
hammer.
our mind, at the time, the woman who loved you despite having a dick got her head cut off.
Yeah.
This is a rare situation in life where someone truly loved you, right, in your life.
Yeah.
Not because of sexual ability, but just because of what you guys had been through and were connected by.
And there's a
And
little bit of
so
love at first sight, too, between you guys.
Yeah, it's
But
like...
you guys
yeah,
are from the same. You're from the same experience.
Yeah, they both come from trauma, and I think that's like if two people that come, like I think there's lots of like proxies for this in real life. Like two people that come from like great trauma meet each other, and then they have difficulties with their trauma that you don't like. I'd say you don't really see that much of it in the show. Like you don't really. It's not really explored that much, kind of what they're going
understood,
through.
though.
But it's very much a part of it.
Yeah, exactly. And I think their story was always about acceptance. They just accepted each other. That's why I think it's actually good that they didn't clear up the situation of what he had. Because in that scene when they like finally like what's the word?
Hump uglies.
Yeah,
hump?
like it felt like that there's like a bit where she looks at him and she looks at like his body, and it's not like there's no like laughter, there's no like
Reaction,
there's
yeah.
She's just like, no, I accept you, I love you, I don't care what you're about. I think that's like a really beautiful.
And see, we all assumed that
thing.
you didn't have a hammer, and she was just basically having sex with a Ken doll. Cool, cool. They were in love, but the reason it came into the room is because now her head has been chopped
And
off.
honestly,
Yeah.
that's Danny's fault. Because let's be real. Sansa told Danny, we're not ready. It's not time. We need to wait. Danny's derailed.
Yeah.
And she was like, no, we're going right now. Boat gets blown up. Sunday gets taken.
Dragon gets slayed.
Dragon gets slayed. And now here you are, no lady. And you were just in there stabbing people up throughout King's Landing.
Yeah.
I would think there would
Get
be
busy, by the way. Grey Worm, you get busy.
Grey Worm
sir.
does get busy. It really, really one of the best warriors on the show. I mean, top 2, 3.
100%.
So what happens when you and John face off?
Ebro. Why would you even play that game? You would want to know if that happened in advance? Shh. No, why would you want to do that?
Okay, let me ask you a question. When you're preparing for your scenes, right, how far along do you read what's going to happen?
I read the whole season before we did, because we did like a big read through this year.
So it's per season.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you really don't know what's happening next season. You don't know if you're going to be gone.
There's no next year.
No, I'm
No,
saying
there's-
like, in general.
I see what you mean. Sorry,
Yeah.
No, they don't tell you. But there's like, so this year there was like like the second page of every script has got like cast of characters, so it tells you who's in that episode. And like when we got the scripts in, before I read the actual script, I just looked at that
To see
for
if you're in
every
there.
episode to see like, I was like, okay, how far do I make? Okay, episode
I'm not
1,
dead.
cool.
I'm
Okay.
not dead.
I'm
Episode 2,
in.
cool.
I'm not
Wow.
dead.
I'm in.
3, okay. 4, go. 5, wait, where's my Sunday?
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, all right, but I'm there. 6, huh?
Don't say
So should we interpret when John said, when the bell rang and John was like, we're not gonna fight.
Yeah.
And Grey Worm's like, fuck that. No, the Queen, we going through. We done in the place.
Who's John? That's just like, I think for Grey Worm is like, who are you? Like, you're not my master. I don't know you.
You're not the
I don't
king.
like you, yeah. Like, he's not. Grey Worm doesn't care what John thinks.
But in theory,
Or any of those people.
but in
Like, I
theory,
think
wasn't
he's-
Jon supposedly leading the ground battle there? In
Grey
theory,
Worm was at the front.
and Grey Worm's been at the front, and he's been fighting for Danny for a long
Wow,
time.
Grey
Yeah.
Worm, you're jealous of John a little bit.
No, I don't think he's jealous
No,
of
it's
him.
like just
I
doesn't
think he's
respect him
just-
fully.
I think there's like a thing that.
No, I'm
is-
saying you are jealous of.
I'm jealous of Kim. Yeah, I wish I could grow that kind of beard. No, I think it's like another unspoken thing that I think people kind of get is that like Grey Worm and Missandei, and I think you get it a bit at the beginning of this season, like they don't owe anybody anything. They're not like, they're here to support somebody who supported them. And and I think like Grey Worm doesn't care about Lannisters. He doesn't care about Starks. He doesn't care about any of this stuff. They don't have skin in the game with this war.
Yeah, they'll
except
never be
for,
royal.
for
They'll
Dany.
never-
Yeah.
Right.
And they'll never be accepted by those people. And I think like that's what that drive is in 5. I think his thing is like, I don't owe anybody anything. You know, like, there's that Scarface. I think it's in Scarface. I'll ruin the thing, but there's like, I've got my word and my balls, and I don't break them for no one. Grey Worm doesn't have balls.
He's got his word.
He's got his word, and his
that's
word
it.
was to Dany, so he will fight for her till the death. That's his thing, and he's lost the woman he loves, so he's just got one person left, and he's lost most of his army, his family essentially. So what does he owe to the Lannisters and to King's Landing? And he doesn't kill any civilians. He's like, if you're wearing that red thing,
You catch it.
you chose to fight
it,
for us. That's it. Yeah.
Well, speaking of acceptance, I remember there was a scene. I don't remember what episode it was, where I think it was Missandei when she was walking around in the
In
village.
Winterfell.
And then, she's trying to be cool with like these little blonde girls, and they shade her.
Yo, did you guys talk about
We were like,
Winterfell
"Ooh,
becoming like
that's
racist? Like,
Yeah.
was that a discussion? Like, okay, in this episode, we're gonna show that the two basically black characters
Uh-huh.
are in Winterfell,
Yeah.
and they get kids won't speak to them because of how they look.
Yeah.
I assumed,
of course.
I assumed that came from the creators of the show or the showrunners realizing that how much the black audience has grown for Game of Thrones, and the idea of ignoring that sort of how the characters of color feel in a place that's so white. How could you ignore that?
Yeah. I think it's interesting because that scene, like, there's been a version of that scene before that never made it into the show, but it was written where basically they say, like, so once this is over, let's leave because we're not going to be accepted here. This is not where we.
Well, that was
Right.
yeah, that
And
did
that's
happen.
So like,
Well, no, you say it happened
no,
before,
exactly.
though.
So, but that was like in previous seasons. I think it was about we were talking about the like marine stuff. I think it's they kind of did that stuff with Tyrion, where Tyrion was like trying to tell them about slavery. Like he was black-splaining to them, and like I think it was something to do with that. So they kind of touched on it before. So I don't think it was exactly a response, but it was an acknowledgement, I think, of like the fact that, yeah, these are the two characters of color that are like in the North. And of course, like, yeah, me and Natalie talked about it.
It has to be acknowledged.
Yeah. I'm really glad that they acknowledged it.
So
Obviously.
here's my question for you.
Yeah.
That, for example, I really like. I think it makes sense. You guys exist in that world, and it's not like the color of the Unsullied is irrelevant. You guys all have a similar look, which is different than other armies. It's relevant. I hate being the person who goes, I'm tired of all this PC talk, because I'm very PC and I'm all about things being done progressively. The conversation over the last few weeks about this show, people sort of having problems with the show from a socio-political standpoint has been
come
really
on.
frustrating to me. It's like we've been here for 10 years, and now it's like, you know, the way Danny's acting is not respectful of women. People are literally treating it as if they were like, yo, Danny's just wild PMSing out here and destroying the whole world. Have you guys had conversations about that? That the show is being dissected in a way now because the audience is so big that it wasn't being dissected before?
Not really since the show started again. Me and Natalie have conversations about stuff occasionally. About like, yeah, and we always have. I think it's important to have those conversations. I think like it's good to have perspective and to have a bit of perspective. I think it's important to have a bit of perspective. It's a TV show, and
But
it's
is there a
fantasy
reason to
TV
not
show,
like an
but-
episode?
No,
It's stupid.
No, but I
Sorry.
think, like-
I just think it's ridiculous.
but I think that you can like you know, right? Like we've had to use our imaginations like forever, and I think that is a relevant point that, like, you know, you can stretch your imagination when you watch something and it doesn't matter, like, the makeup of people on screen. However, representation is really important.
Right.
Like, to feel like you belong to something is really important. And I think, whilst I hear what you're saying, like, ultimately it doesn't matter. There are, like, bigger fights for us to fight.
Right.
Like, in my industry, like, that is the big fight.
But
Is making sure that we're all...
That's why I'm saying the conversation about your characters to me is more relevant. Because yes, you need to have people of color on the show so people feel represented when they watch the show.
Yeah,
But
the
if you're going to
Danny
tear
thing-
down Danny, because to say all the women have been raped and are powerless, well, yes, there has been a shitload of rape on the show, but we've all kind of adjusted to that over the decade, as fucked up as that is. But also, Sansa hasn't lost her shit. Arya hasn't lost her shit.
what I'm
It's the arc of
saying.
Danny's character.
Yeah, I do. I think in terms of Danny, I think that's just people not maybe accepting that part of what representation's about is like complexity of people, right? Like it's about like Danny is a complex woman. She's not just like she's not mad. I think this like the mad queen thing is part of the show. Is like that's what people say. They say like the Mad King, Mad Queen, but she's not mad. She's just like she's traumatized. She's angry.
You could argue
and, like,
the same
and
for
everyone
Cersei.
gets no, but I'm agreeing with you.
But I
Like,
can argue
think
that she's mad and rightfully so because her 2 dragons have been killed. She can't trust anybody.
Yeah.
Like that's enough to drive somebody mad.
Yeah, of course.
Khal Drogo
Yeah,
got killed.
like any of us would.
Right.
But like, I think that's just people. That's people looking at it in a very.
But I think that's what he's
shallow
saying.
way.
It's like, yo, man, we've been doing this 10 years. I saw tweets where there was black people going, yo, it's not enough black people on the show. There's never been enough black people on the show. Thanks for catching up. Don't ruin it now.
on any
We
show.
here now. Any
I
show.
just think people take it
Or
over the
any
top.
show.
Yeah.
Have you seen like the petitions, like 35,000 signatures in hopes that, you know,
They
certain like
rewrite season 8.
things
Did you
are
see
like
that
rewritten?
shit?
Like, what
They
are,
want
what
them
are we
to rewrite-
talking
they want them
about?
to rewrite.
Yes.
There's
It's-
people
to me,
who are
it's
like,
so
rewrite the
stupid.
whole season. I'm pissed because remember, now, while I have you here,
It annoys me.
last season,
Yeah.
I was on the air like, yo, they're rushing it. I'm
We
pissed.
all said that.
I'm pissed. Stop rushing it. But I accepted it, and I'm back this year.
Mm.
There's not a part of my brain that thought you guys were going to slow it back down like
could.
season 3 or 4. It's not going to happen. That's over.
Yeah.
Why
This
did
is
it,
like it was all moving to this point. I think as well, there's like because all of these characters are starting to like coincide with each other and they're all like crashing into each other now. I think it's also there's more urgency because everyone's together. Like it's not so spread out, you know. But the thing about petitions, like, I'm not saying this on just on my behalf, because like actors, we get like we get to come on Hot 97 and we get to like look like we've done all this work and we're on the show. People see us. We're visible. I think like it's so insulting. Whatever you think of the show, like if you saw how hard people worked on that show, like nobody would be like flippantly saying like remake the show, do this, da, da, da. It's like I've seen people that I've known for like 8 years, like who are like just really just happy, like fun people. Those night shoots, I saw people switch. Like you saw it in people's eyes, like 55 consecutive nights. I know you guys are on mornings, so you might be like,
No, that's still.
But,
we
you
have
know,
weekends
like,
though.
yeah, like working from 4 till 6, 7, and some people like have to get in at 2, and then they're not finishing until they're not getting home until 8 a.m. or whatever. Like those people worked those hours and worked that hard, regardless of what you think of the episode. So the whole remake thing, I think it's just like, I think everybody's allowed to think whatever they think of the show. That's fine, but I just think to be so like. To just put something on the internet that quickly in response to something that people
Well, and the
have
show hasn't
spent
ended
that
yet
time.
either.
Yeah, exactly.
Can we at least see what the
Yeah.
result? No one at this point. You could say what you want. The truth is, we really still, with one episode left, have no idea who ends up getting the throne. That part is still very unclear, and I think that's challenging. And so, like, you might have not liked. I'm a big wrestling fan. In wrestling, what we would say about people getting so upset about Danny, you're getting worked, bro. You're getting worked. You're like, I hate that guy. And it's like, no, you're supposed to hate that guy. That's a bad wrestler. They're a bad guy. And I think in the case of Danny, where you have all these really smart writers for Variety and Hollywood, all these places being like, it's so offensive that Danny blah, blah. You're getting worked, bro. You're upset because the character turned out to be something you didn't think she was.
Or you named your kids Daenerys.
You named your kid Daenerys, and she's a murderer like everybody else.
So how did you lose your shit and start screaming Mike Pence at the Battle of
Yeah, I saw
Winterfell? What, was that just you getting
Delirious?
and bugging,
Working?
and like just for the sake of bugging?
No, I just thought it was funny. I was just trying to make people laugh because I was like, everyone was tired. It was as simple as that. It was just, yeah. There's like a bit up on the battlements where I'm like trying to get all the Unsullied up, and the director Miguel was like, "Okay, Jacob, I want you to improvise something in Valyrian to like get rally the troops, get them riled up," and so I just. Because I have my helmet on, I just shouted. I was like, Mike Pence! Mike Pence! Mike Pence! Mike! Yeah.
How long?
I'm going to get deported for that.
How long was just the Battle of Winterfell? How long was that process?
For me, it was about 30, like between 20 and 30 nights.
Just for that scene. And how many of you were there at one time?
It varied because sometimes we're in different combinations.
You mean
So, like,
main actors or just total body?
with
No, I mean like
extras?
total bodies
Oh.
Because are all the extras there when you're doing your stuff still?
Yeah,
They still
it's
have to have them all there.
Yeah, there's like sometimes there's like 500-600 people on set. But they built this is the thing. This is what I'm like, just being like, oh, remake the show. It's like they built Winterfell. They built King's Landing.
Yeah.
They're like that's real.
Yeah.
Like most of the stuff in the show that isn't dragon
Now,
related
what do
is
you guys
real.
do?
King's Landing is Dubrovnik, right?
Yeah, but they built it
But then they added on.
in Belfast. They built like 6 streets of Dubrovnik in a car park in Belfast. I've never seen
By
anything
car
like
park,
it.
he means parking lot. For
Sorry,
everybody that
parking
doesn't-
lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
But like that, it broke my brain.
To think
I
that they did this.
Yeah, you're in Belfast, like by the docks, and then you walk through this gate, and then you're in Croatia. I was like, I will never see something like this again in
Wait,
my
so
life.
what they built is a replica of Dubrovnik.
Yeah.
In Belfast.
Shit.
Yeah.
So when I went to
And then they
Dubrovnik,
burnt
I
it.
thought I was in the spot.
So you were, but for this season, because they had to destroy it and like they wanted everything to be kept
They
secret.
couldn't really destroy
they built
Dubrovnik.
the streets.
Damn it.
So they built these like
Dubrovnik's been through enough.
Right.
Matter of fact, when you go through there, there's still like shells
Yeah,
that like you
yeah.
can see from the wars that they've
That's
been
so
through.
crazy.
Like there's still like shells in the walls and bombs and stuff.
Did you decide to keep anything? Were there any pieces of memorabilia that you were like, I'm taking this home, I'm gonna hold on to this?
I've got one of those, like in the map room in Dragonstone, they've got those like pieces. They're like almost like chess pieces.
Yeah.
I've got like a little unsullied.
Oh, that's
Unsullied
tight.
one.
That's dope.
That's fire.
Do you ever click on them thrones on social
course
media
I do.
and crack up with the staff?
Yeah, it's the best.
Them
It's the
thrones
best
is the
way to
best.
watch,
So
bro.
good.
It's so good.
Because obviously, like, I know what happens. So I've got like 2 versions of watching the show. I watch the show with them thrones up, and I'm just listening to the show, and then I watch it properly on like Monday morning. But yeah,
Did you see the meme that said one more time for Lord Friendzone?
no, what draw?
After Jordan. One more time
Rosenberg
for
came
Lord.
up with that name.
No, I didn't.
So
I
Where'd it
stole
come from?
Lord
I don't know.
Friendzone.
Alexa sent it to me.
It was
the
a
gift.
meme.
But
It
I
was-
just thought he was the ultimate friend zone, bro. Like he had to watch this one dude after another. Each season she meets somebody and he'd just be like, I'm here for you, my queen. Gets kicked out, goes and kidnaps Tyrion, brings him all the way back just to win her way back in, just to have her smash someone else while he hangs outside. And even at the end, he just gets a kiss on the forehead.
But then I thought that was like a good arc. I thought that was a really strong arc that he basically says in that scene before the Battle of Winterfell. He says to her, basically like, "All right, I'm giving it up now. I'm not. I get it." And he's never got it.
Never.
No.
He didn't ever.
Never
take
gonna
the
get
cues.
it.
So-
In Vogue.
Yeah.
So coffee cup placement, mistake or product placement?
Yeah, look at wait, is this a blank coffee cup you have?
You brought the same coffee cup.
Is that a completely blank coffee cup?
I didn't bring that on purpose. No, that was a mistake. It must have been a mistake. But the thing that bothers me about that is that it wasn't. Can you say brand? Is it here? Am I allowed to say brand names? In fact, no, I'm not going to say it because then I'll just give it more.
Right.
But like, it annoyed me that like
Because
there
it
was
wasn't a
brand.
branded cup.
No,
It was a local like coffee shop from
Yeah.
Ireland or something.
It was.
right?
It was literally. So there's this woman called Lee who like ran like. Do you have tuck shops here? So in like at home we've got this thing called like a tuck shop, and it's basically just like a little truck or a cart.
Yeah, coffee
with
truck,
like
coffee
sweets
cart.
in.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
like
Truck,
so Lee runs the coffee cart, and she like gives us like candy and chocolate and like makes us teas and coffees and that kind of stuff. That was one of her cups.
Oh, she didn't even get
And
the
she didn't even
promo.
get any
the
credit
plug.
for that. And I was like, she
Yo, shout Lee out. Let's
she
put out
kept us
coffee
going.
cups for her, man. People buy them cups, man.
Shout out Lee.
Instead, it was just
Yeah.
Starbucks again. Like,
it's-
like they needed pub.
Right,
on
right.
That.
They're like,
Yeah.
yes.
So someone else took all of the, probably took a lot of money
What?
for.
Well, I thought it was product placement because see, I'm a Game of Thrones fan. I was pissed, man. Makeup, Shake Shack, soundtracks. What was the other shit?
He was
cereal.
so annoying.
There's cereal.
Johnny Walker.
Oreos.
Johnny Walker's actually the White Walker. That was actually kind of dope.
Remember
That's quite
your
I was pissed at all of it. I hated all of it. Because I'm such a fan. I'm like, yo, I don't want this to be. I don't want gimmicks, man.
Well, yo, Ebro,
I want the show.
You realize how crazy it was that I got on the radio after episode 1 or 2 and made a joke. I was like, yo, I thought it was so crazy that right before the Battle of Winterfell, Jon Snow was like, I have a king's thirst. Someone give me an orange vanilla Coke. I made a joke about that, how funny that would be. The next week, I was like, yo, did they really just do it? They really just did it. And then, of course, it turned out to not be that.
No, that was a mistake.
Yo, how could the show, can you explain, and we know you don't create.
No, I can't
explain
explain.
anything. I know.
I have no idea
But
how
how
that
does
happened.
the show stop right now? How does it stop when it's not on the other side
Because
yet?
they're amazing. That's how you do it.
I think it's just that your cohorts everyone got too expensive. It was a 7-year contract or 8-year contract.
Well,
Kit Harington was like, I don't know if you know what's been going on with me.
And Mr. R.R. Wright, Martin wasn't
Yeah, but
writing.
they're past him
no
already
books.
anyway. They're already past his books, aren't
The
they?
book.
I
been
like
past
one of my favorite things, like quotes, is that you either you die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become a villain. And it seems like some people have decided like villain is you've lived long enough to be a villain. But I think it's brave to just like
End it. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Well, of course,
Things should have an ending.
well, you're
Everything's
British.
so,
Of
like,
course you think that. Every British series is like 5 episodes and over.
Yeah.
America, we do everything way too long.
But that's a good way
I know,
to tell a
you're right.
story.
We have
is
soap
to have a
operas that have
beginning,
lasted
middle,
10 years.
Yeah, 10.
Yeah.
20 maybe.
Lives. People's lives. They still watching
Days of Our Lives.
It's still on?
Yes.
Oh, God.
It ain't over?
What was the other one?
I watched
No.
novelas that last like 2 years.
Young and the Restless, bro.
They go forever.
That's been on my entire life.
But that, like, I feel like
I'm 44.
soaps, right? That's a soap opera, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like that's all right because it's the whole point of it is it's like continued storytelling. But I think like this kind of like I don't know, I don't understand like how it's all split up here. But like cable shows, network shows, that kind of stuff. Like I feel like they should have a beginning,
I love
middle,
ending.
and an end.
And
Every
I do
story
want to
needs
say,
that
though,
structure.
at multiple instances in this program, I pointed out that you were jealous of Jon Snow. I did not realize that you were blaming Jon Snow for the coffee cup, though.
No. I wasn't blaming him. All I was saying, because I think like Amelia just took like a wave of
Oh,
shade.
because she was sitting next to it.
Yeah. And like actually, all I was saying was that if you look at the perspective of the table, the cup's like
Where he was
forward
sitting.
of hers, where he was sitting. So all I was saying is who's to say it was hers?
Well, that was the moment people really wanted to start blaming her in general, because that scene with the coffee cup is when she's staring at him, getting love from everyone, and she's kind of like, and I think that moment actually on the show, again, people are getting worked and don't realize that was a moment that actually got people angry at her character.
Why did people like Jon Snow's like?
Well, wait.
Why do people?
See, I told you.
Why do people love Jon Snow so much?
Oh my God, Grey Worm! What's wrong with you, man? Because he represents the moral values of Ebro's personal hero in life, Eddard Stark.
That's right.
And Eddard Stark was
And
a
he's
good
got
man.
the Valyrian steel. I've been whipping out the Valyrian steel my whole life.
No,
Right.
Ebro, that's different.
No.
That's different.
Different.
No.
But
I love like Ned Stark was like
Eddard, say his name right.
Eddard Stark.
That's right.
shows some damn respect. Put some respect on Eddard's name.
Yeah, I love him, but he was naive.
And so is Jon, to a degree.
Yeah, exactly.
And by the way, he just was with your homegirl.
yeah,
He's been naive about Daenerys.
I think like one of the big messages of this show is like you can't come out of like politics and like all this game, you can't come out of it with clean hands.
No.
You can't like
Unless you want to die.
yeah, it was like politics, like real world politics. Like you just think like how many people like have been shit on so this person that you think is amazing and you think is virtuous or
That's
whatever.
Donald Trump all day. That's Donald Trump all day. He's
Who
a
is the most
piece of
Trump-like?
shit.
Who's the most Trump-like character on Game of Thrones? I don't think any of the leaders are dumb enough to be Trump-like.
You're
Yeah,
right. You're
yeah.
right.
I mean, maybe Euron Greyjoy. He was trash. or Ramsay Bolton.
But I was gonna say Cersei. Cersei.
No.
You know,
What? Cersei's fucking brilliant. First of
Yeah,
all,
she's pretty
First of all,
smart.
Cersei is a victim herself also. And that's super underrated. You were talking about trauma. She's super traumatized early. Cersei's
well, I was just
super
gonna say because
smart.
Donald thinks his own daughter's hot, so there's that part.
So you're going on sheer incest.
Yeah, just-
no. I see what you're saying.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying?
Because her and Jamie
Yeah,
and Donald
she
Trump.
inherited all her shit.
Right.
All her shit is inherited.
But she had to fight for it way more because Tywin really fucked with Jamie and not Cersei. He wanted everything for Jamie, and she always.
Trump
She had to,
also
like,
didn't Trump's dad
scratch
not really
She had
fuck
to,
with him?
and she deserved. She's
scrape
smarter
away
than
to
Jamie.
the
Didn't Trump's dad not really fuck with him or something like that? He
No.
was always trying to
No.
prove his worth to his dad or something like that.
He always wanted to prove to his dad that he was as good a businessman or better than his dad was. But his dad still gave him everything and passed it down and supported him. Fred Trump came to all of Trump's big.
And I think that
openings.
ultimately we're going to see Donald Trump walking around crying with the building collapsing around him like,
That's what you hope. I hope. The Capitol falling down? No, because I'm from D.C. It's King's Landing? No, I don't want it to go like that.
I love that thing of like.
I said that too.
Yeah,
I love
it's
how
falling
Cersei
on top
died.
of him.
Yeah.
Like,
It made me mad. I wanted something more gruesome. I want her to feel it.
But this is another interesting thing. Is like I think, like this show is said from the drop. It said, don't get comfortable. Don't think that you know what's going to happen because it's not. Whatever you think's going to happen is not going to happen. Whatever you want to happen is not necessarily going to happen. Like
We got the Hound in the Mountain, though. We knew that they gave us that.
Yeah, they gave
gave us
exactly.
the Hound in the
Clear
Mountain,
game
for
bowl.
sure.
But like even back to like Joffrey, I think a lot of people are like I want to see him get his head cut off.
Yeah,
I want to see him
felt
like
that
on a
way.
spit. But I was like, that's a great way to kill him.
Yeah.
That he's like, it's kind of like not underwhelming, but it's not. It's you don't get
Wait, how'd
that
he die
like
again?
catharsis.
Poison.
Poison.
I wasn't mad at
Poison,
that,
yeah,
though. I
that's
was
right.
like, I'm
I
good
mean,
with
you still
that.
see the veins. You still see the
pretty
veins
gruesome.
popping
I'm
out
good
of
with
his
that
face.
poison.
It's pretty bad.
Yeah.
But like, I forgot how bad
purple.
that moment is. The way he's shitting on Tyrion right before he dies.
Yeah.
It is satisfying because you're sitting there. He's just playing Tyrion out. I mean, he's just and he has the dwarves come out and do the skit about Westeros.
forgot about that.
And one of them is Robb Stark getting killed. So Sansa's sitting there watching as a dwarf pretending to be Robb Stark is like and dying in front of her. Then he's playing out Tyrion, and then he gets poisoned and dies.
And in front of everybody.
Although you know what's so funny
Yeah,
about
do you know what? It is actually pretty satisfying.
it is
Yeah, I
satisfying.
told you it's pretty
You're like,
good.
"Oh, you need to catch it
You just
right now."
forgot.
When I think about
And then
it.
it's so funny though, not to go back to wrestling, but like heels are so important to shows. And almost as soon as Joffrey's gone, Ramsay Bolton appears. Literally, Joffrey, the person you hate most, is gone, and then Ramsay shows up, and he's just as bad as Joffrey.
Which
Maybe
is like,
worse.
Maybe worse.
but that's like a natural power structure, right? That's like as soon as there's a vacuum, someone else is.
there's always someone
Yeah.
else.
Like that's gonna happen. I think people just didn't necessarily like. Sorry, my chair's very squeaky. It agrees with me. I think it's something that I love about this show.
So how serious are you about? You're pretty serious about your music shit. Huh?
Wait, man, we're going to get to his music.
No, come on,
man.
bro. We can't have it for 6 hours.
Why?
I know.
It's Thrones.
We
Them
all-
Thrones,
I know.
man.
So I mean,
It's Grey Worms
Well,
here.
at least let him talk
He's
about
about
his
to
music.
fight Jon Snow
But
next
at least
episode.
let him talk about his music, and then you can get back to Game of Thrones.
Okay, fine.
Well, no,
Right.
he wins awards. He's put out albums. He put out an album in 2016. He's amazing.
Why do you have a
He's,
music name that's different than your acting name? Just-
Honestly, in the beginning, it was just. So I've always, because I started writing songs when I was at school, and I always was like a little bit like shy about it or a little bit reserved. So I always had like an alias or whatever. So there's just nothing. I think in part when I first so my first name was JB Love.
JB Love?
Yeah.
Wow.
Because I was listening to a lot of like Erica music, that's her name, but it's like Music Soul Child and like lots of neo soul. And I thought JB Love was like an acceptable name for that kind of music. I was like, yeah, cool.
I was in an R&B group that Make You Feel Better. It was called Tomorrow's Answer.
Shoulder pads and
Make you
all.
feel better, man.
Yo, Tomorrow's
Thank you.
Answer.
Late 80s,
Yeah.
early 90s.
Yo, y'all could have
man.
gotten together. Tomorrow's Answer featuring JB
JB
Love.
Love.
I Just Want to Love You remix.
You see? You feel better now?
Yeah, I do actually, yeah.
It's like JB Smooth.
I should have kept it.
Shout out to JB Smooth, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah, but I think because I write very like personal songs, I think it's just like a protection. Just give myself a name that means that like nobody's looking at me like when I just walking down the street or living my
Raleigh
life.
Ritchie?
But why Raleigh?
Yeah. It's like alliteration. It's good. It's good alliteration.
Raleigh
Yeah.
Ritchie.
No, it's from there's a film called The Royal Tenenbaums. I don't know if any
love
of you
it.
It's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
like a very New York film. And yeah, it's two characters from that film.
Yes.
I wanted, like, this is really, like, trivial, but I wanted to give myself a name based on a Bill Murray character. Because Bill Murray
Are
was,
you a
like, one
big
of my
fan?
favorite
Bill
actors.
Murray fan?
Yeah. Like,
Have you seen that documentary?
yeah.
You guys seen the Bill Murray
Murray
documentary?
story.
It's about all the random stories of him showing up places.
Yeah.
I love it. It's
That's,
incredible.
and that's real life. I haven't watched it yet, but is it it's amazing?
I mean, just the fact that A, somebody took the time to do it. B, they were able to track him down in certain situations where he's just popping up and get real footage of Bill Murray just popping up places and people losing their shit.
It's so great.
Parties, bars, all type of shit.
Also, the end, like, I don't know. It's
Don't-
not really
don't
the kind of
spoil it,
thing.
don't spoil
Okay,
it.
okay. But I feel like if I ever met Bill Murray, I don't want to meet him.
Right. I
don't
felt
want
like
to meet
that
him.
too.
I just, yeah.
Why? Because you could
Stay
ruin
away.
it?
Yeah. Could ruin it.
The
and it's-
mystique
yeah.
is enough. Like it's dope. The documentary's dope.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen Alexa's interview with him?
No.
When she saw him at a basketball game?
I remember hearing about
Oh,
it, but I don't
yeah, I
remember what
remember.
happened.
And he definitely only talked to her. He did not want to be interviewed at a basketball game. And he definitely talked to her because she's pretty. And was like, okay, I'll talk to you. But it's great. He is exactly what you think about in all those stories. Like, I understand why you'd want to name something after a Bill Murray character.
Yeah. It's just like, I like Easter eggs and stuff. So that's kind of what I did. But,
Grey Worm likes Easter eggs. That's fucking. I never wanted to meet Grey Worm. I thought you was hard. Now you out here.
not chocolate
No,
Easter
not
eggs.
really.
You don't think about
You know what
Easter
Easter
eggs.
eggs are, do you? No, you don't know what they are.
Like, you know, the prize inside.
No,
like
do you
the-
actually know what Easter egg is, though?
What do you mean?
No, like Easter eggs is like it's
Ebro's
like
so not a
hidden,
nerd.
They're like
Oh, like the
hidden
hidden
things
thing.
in
Yeah, like in a
in-
DVD, they have Easter
Got it,
eggs
got
or
it.
video
Yeah.
games,
Got it,
Easter
got it,
eggs.
got it.
Ebro doesn't have time for Easter eggs. He has too many
Nah,
jobs to go
time for that
looking
shit.
for the. He's not searching through to be like, hold on. You could
That's-
argue the
that's
Starbucks
fair.
thing was
That's
a.
fair.
Like I hated Zelda too.
Okay,
I hated all
yeah.
that shit.
Hated
Right.
Zelda. What's wrong with you, man?
Hated Zelda.
Zelda's like the basis for Game of Thrones.
I hated Zelda.
Really?
You wouldn't hate Zelda if you just like you just need to give it time.
I didn't have
just
time
need
for
to-
Zelda.
How do you never
Actually,
have time?
you don't
Wait,
have time for Zelda.
Not even there.
But
Not even
yeah.
a child. Zelda was great.
So, is there a new project on the way, Raleigh Ritchie?
Yeah, I've just finished. I'm nearly finished on my second album. So that's
So you're out here singing,
yeah.
singing.
Yeah, that's like that's what I do. That's like that's what I've done since I was a kid.
That was before
No wonder
acting.
Miss Sandy was good
Yeah,
with you not
it's
having a
just-
hammer. You was singing.
Can you imagine? Just if in the shower, just started being like, "Hey, girl." That's not what my music sounds like. I don't
It's
know
not
what I'm
just
saying.
hey girl.
No, not at all. But yeah, it's like it's my outlet.
Yeah.
It's music. That's like how I get all of my shit out.
And
in
do
my
you
head.
plan on doing a lot more acting, or do you want to go just back to music now for a while and not worry about acting for a minute?
It's just like music's like my job. So I'm kind of like acting is like a fun thing to do, and it uses a different chamber of my brain because I can pretend to be someone else. Whereas music is all about like being myself and trying to work out what's going on.
Except you're gonna
with
change
myself.
your name and be a whole different name.
Well, right.
But this is the funny thing is that like, yeah, I did that to try and protect myself, and actually it doesn't make any sense because my songs are really personal. But I'd feel vulnerable. I feel like it gives me armor. Like having a different name gives me some kind of like
Privacy.
protection and
like
privacy.
the
yeah.
Unsullied's armor. Deep.
Exactly.
I knew it.
It
Are you-
all loops in. It all-
Who do
yeah.
you got on the Iron Throne at the end? What's your bet?
You can't ask me that because I
Yeah,
know
he
how
knows
it
the
ends.
answer.
Yeah, you can't do
Ebro.
that. All right,
Why
can you tell me
I-
one thing? The very last
No
shot,
comment.
okay? The very last
Why
scene
I-
when you guys did the final cut. Did everybody start crying? How was it? How was that like feeling?
So okay, first of all, I might. Who knows if I'm anything to do with the very last final shot of the show?
Well said.
But like the last day
ruin
of
the damn
filming
show.
was it was difficult. I'm like
Grey
I'm
Worm
not,
ends up on the Iron Throne. You got it in first. I don't know why.
He said at the end when we were all there and we were celebrating and I was
right.
on the throne. He said it with his eyes.
yeah, it was emotional. And I'm not like a big. I'm not a big crier. Like not in public. I am, but not in public.
Who are your closest friends on the show?
Natalie.
Natalie and Emmanuel and Amelia are probably
Just
like,
from because you guys clearly work together. I mean,
yeah, but also like they're fun. Like they're just good people.
Everybody else is
They're-
whack. Keep it a
They're
thousand.
real ones. Everyone else is
Kit
just,
Harington's
just
soft.
terrible.
Kit Harington's soft out here. To tell the truth.
I hate Kit Harington.
Yo, we
I
need
hate
that.
Kit Harington. Hate Jon Snow.
Yeah.
I'm gonna look into this camera. Kit Harington.
Yo.
I hate you, bro.
Yeah, and Kit likes hip hop. I think he's probably not even into R&B. He's not
He
even
don't
checking
like
for music. Yeah, he's a hip hop.
Nah, Kit's cool. Yeah, like everyone, I think they've done a really good job. Like David and Dan did a really good job of like curating the cast, so like everyone gets on because I think they pick people just as much as they pick like who's the best actor at the whatever. It's like who's gonna work well together. So everyone gets on, but we're like definitely we like mess around a lot. Our group.
We saw you singing with Natalie.
No, Running Man Challenge.
Running Man Challenge.
Super dated Running Man
Doing
Challenge.
like the worst Running Man shuffle ever. It's terrible.
It was
but
still-
we just messed about. It's
By
fun.
the way, though, it was something that made people happy. Yeah, there's something about seeing your characters out of
that's
character
why.
for a
It's
second.
fine.
Well, because that was 3 years ago.
She just posted it when she was saying goodbye right now, right? Is that how it went viral?
Yeah, well, I posted it as like a goodbye because I knew that people were gonna be sad. I was really sad about how she went out, and I was like,
She went out all right, boy.
yeah.
Dracarys. That was hard, though. She went out like a G, though.
The
made sure.
rage and control
Is that, but
and
is
like
that why?
yeah.
Is that why? Fucking that's why she burned the whole shit down.
Part of it, yeah, of course.
Because Miss Sandy was like, "Yo, Dracarys burn all these motherfuckers."
Yeah, but you can't
Yeah.
listen to somebody about to get their head chopped off. I mean, they're not thinking the right way.
No, I'm happy that
Maybe
I'm
she has a
happy that
moment
Khaleesi
of
burned the whole
clarity
shit
at that
down.
point.
I know, you told me. You told us your
But I
theory
think
about
that's part of like as well, like with Grey Worm, I think that's part of that. Just for him, that would solidify. She's like, we're with her until we die.
Right,
Like,
because in the
that's,
moment,
you know-
Jon Snow's like, "Yo, chill." Grey Worm's like, "Yo, shut the fuck
Nah.
up."
Yeah,
Done.
Nah.
You too.
Nah.
No,
This guy.
and this is why
Him too.
this is why Jon Snow is the only person who's clear. You got Grey Worm, no disrespect, only ever got in his life. Okay, so, she just died.
And we don't even know
So-
if he don't even got a hammer. He's trying to convince us. He came up here
he's
insecure
old.
about his whole shit. Like, yo, I got a dick, my chick. Nigga, you don't got no dick. You don't fuck.
So he's off. You got Dany. She's just lost a dragon.
Yeah.
Her best friend's up there with a knife to her throat. Then poor Miss Sunday, she's up there in front of the whole. So you can't listen.
Hair
to
perfect, though, every
Well,
time.
Ebro, you already know.
Always
It's the most
looking clean.
unrealistic part of the show is Natalie's hair. It can't look that good all the time. You can't look
Well,
perfect.
Khaleesi
You gotta
don't.
look-
Miss Sunday
Khaleesi's
takes
braids
time.
were
She's
always
Khaleesi's
perfect,
burning
man.
down towns, and her shit is flawless.
Her
all
fresh
the
braids
time.
are
But she had Miss
popping.
Sunday helping her out. But I guess Miss Sunday had people helping her out also. There's a chain of command.
Yeah, of course.
of hair people.
Like, I'm sure.
Because she
Okay,
was
twisted.
she was the queen's hand. So
Yeah, she's
someone has to
lit.
make sure. She was super lit.
Yo,
Always.
it was great talking to you, Jacob. I mean, Grey Worm. Normally, when actors come up here, I don't even say
Richie.
their real names.
Yeah.
That's
No
fine.
interest.
I'm
I'm
used
like,
to
yo,
it.
your name's Grey Worm.
Do people yell out Grey Worm on the street a lot?
Yes.
A lot of people yell Dracarys for no reason at you, or no?
That happened yesterday.
Yeah.
It wasn't really a yell. Just someone just walked past it and was like, "Dracarys." But like it was like because it was like it was very New York. But because obviously I would say like Dracarys. He was like Dracarys.
He's
And,
like, yo,
I thought he
son.
said,
Carey.
Yo,
I thought he
son,
said something about
Dracarys.
Paris, and I was like, yeah, Paris. But he said Dracarys.
Last thing, do you get a lot of because when you're dressed in a Levi's hoodie and a hat, and NASA hat,
Yeah.
by the way, we appreciate you supporting.
I'm proud.
I just want to
I'm
say
proud.
we
Yeah.
appreciate your support of our space system. We take it very seriously.
Even though our government doesn't support it.
Our government doesn't, but we still respect it. But
space.
do people? Do you get a lot of like? I know you, but I don't know exactly why. Or does everyone right on site go Grey Worm? Because I gotta tell you, if I met you on the street, I don't think I would go right away. That's Grey Worm. I would just be like, this looks like a regular, British dude.
I mean,
oh, should I know you?
I am a regular British dude.
Right, you know what I'm saying.
It's like, yeah, no, like people. This is the thing, right? With like phone stuff, is like people have a bit of time. People watch you. It's really like I like freedom. I like public transport. I like walking. I'm used to that thing of that you can feel somebody. You just feel somebody looking at you. So you do get that sometimes where someone's like.
Well, also right
I'm
now,
getting used to being like mad dogged in the street.
See now, but you got to start flipping on them. You know I'm fucking Grey Worm. Who the fuck are you looking at? I can go down right now.
Ebro, one thing that Ebro does not tolerate well is that. The staring.
Don't just stare at me like you want action.
Like, yeah.
Say hello. Like, even if you're like,
I'm unsure.
Even if you're like, be polite. Don't go.
Yo, it is the
Because
worst.
then I'm automatically like, what the fuck is you looking at?
Yeah.
We doing this or
Yeah,
not?
but it's like, but you have to like.
Grey Worm, you're going to have to do a couple of people on the street.
So that's the advice you're giving him right now.
Yeah, a couple of people.
Let him know.
Finish them.
Look, it's
And
better
then go
than,
and then look into the camera when it's like on TMZ and it's like, Game of Thrones actor takes character too seriously and murders someone. You go, yo, stop looking at me in the street, my jit.
Dracarys.
Dracarys, motherfucker. Yo, give it up, man. Jacob Anderson, man.
Thank you.
Congrats.
Yeah. Dracarys, motherfucker.